Okay, I think it's time to start. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Monika Sońta. Today with me we have Moisés Martínez Berrio from Catalonia, from Barcelona, and we will spend the next up to 40 minutes to talk about a board game that facilitates organizational developmental talks. So this is the board game that is very popular in Spanish-speaking countries. My experience with this game started in Costa Rica in last May. And I was so amazed with the whole concept and the energy that is produced by this board game that I've decided that maybe it's a good idea to launch this game in Poland. So let's introduce ourselves. My name is Monika Sońta, and I'm a consultant. My area of specialization is internal communication and employee engagement. And the second life, I would say the second pillar of my career, is linked to academia, which means that Moises will tell you a lot about practical implications, about practical applications of Biopolis, and I will try to explain this game using some well-established academic concepts. So, Moises, can you tell us about yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm the Biopolis World founder and international coach, mentor, and supervisor in leadership, coaching, and emotional intelligence and organizational development. I'm a father of two sons, and I enjoy to play the life and to play games.
Mm-hmm. And would you describe yourself more as a coach or a mentor or a trainer? How would you describe your experience?
My experience is to give support to companies and leaders through expand their potential professional and personally.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
By different techniques, by NLP or coaching or positive psychology, etc.
Perfect. Okay. The agenda for today is as follows. First, we will talk, we will say hello. Then we will introduce the game to you. We'll show you how it looks like. Then we will tell you about some practical implications. I will explain some theories in the background of Biopolis. And finally, we could have this discussion about why Poland, why now, are we mature enough to start playing at the workplace. And the final word will be about the culture fit that is needed to use full potential of Biopolis. So the first question is about history of Biopolis. How did you come up with the idea of this game? What was the reason? With whom have you created this game? What was the idea?
The idea is Biopolis means the city of life, or where people and companies grow. Biopolis has two pillars. The first pillar is the best practice of the most important board games in the history, like Monopoly, Trivial Pursuit, with 2,000 million people playing. And the second pillar is a coaching tool called the Well of Life, with 10 life areas. In the game, there are 300 cards based in the work of the most important experts in psychology and organizational development. And the two pillars joined make Biopolis. Our vision is to become the game of the 21st century in every country of the world.
Okay, so now I will present the whole box with the cards. We see that we have some. It looks like a sticker, a lot of very colorful elements with the categories, with the elements of our life cycle. Yes, you mentioned Monopoly, so I guess that money is really important. And we have cards like this divided into some categories. I have, for example, me category, and but Moses, can we get serious? Because I can go to the bookstore, I can go to the first shopping mall, and I can buy a Monopoly game. And I don't need any certification training to start playing this game. So why do you need, why you think we need a certification training, we need a process to understand this game?
Is a good question. Biopolis is a methodology through a board game. It's not only a board game. The principal recommendation is to experience its potential, guided through a facilitator, accredited facilitator, who has done the training and integrated the potential of the content of the methodology through the game in his life. It's the principal application. It's the reason for we can't found Biopolis in the great malls.
Okay, so you suggest that this is about a skillful facilitator who really creates magic around this board game. And talking about boards, I should present the board of Biopolis. So it looks like this. It's very attractive. It's very colorful. Actually, I think that I could play this board game with my 6-year-old daughter. So it's very nice when it comes to visual part of it. But I will check you. So I will take some cards and I will try to read them out. Okay, let's take this one. This is leisure category. And the first one is about making sounds of an animal. All players together produce the sounds of a farm for 10 seconds. I will take the next one. Maybe let's take this one. I don't know. Maybe this one. Without anyone seeing it, write down the name of a reptile imitated for 20 seconds. Okay, now we're talking about reptiles. It's getting really serious. Okay, I think that one is my favorite one. This is about human sculpture. All of you working together must make a human sculpture representing a car. Moises, again, sorry for my skepticism, but do you think that such a task is appropriate for business environment? Because I don't know how it is in Spain, but in Poland, when you come to work, you start working, not playing, you're not creating a human sculpture, human towers. I saw some images, and people were building the human tower out of 12 people. But like, do you think that this is it not too childish for business?
It's a good question too. The more important thing is to pre-select through the facilitator the cards, align the focus of the session, the people who played, and the action plan we make after the game session. It's important to recognize in these three cards of leisure the skill to pass the edge, the limits for the conventional concept of work. It's an important information source for evaluate other soft skills that are very important in the workplace.
I must say that I can agree with your statement. As a person who facilitates Lego Serious Play workshop, I see that more and more clients, more and more companies are able to take this risk, and they start creating playful atmosphere. It was only last month that one of the multinational companies based in Poland introduced a description, like a hashtag, to describe the atmosphere at their workplace, and the hashtag was fun. So they wanted to create a fun environment, and I can imagine that you need to take this risk to create a human tower first, to get people connected, networked, and then and only then you can say that you want to build this playful, emotional atmosphere at work. Oh, okay. So
there is one strength, one principle.
Category. And I will pick some question cards. What about that?
One important thing, Monica, is the freedom for the players to make the card, to do the card. Okay. It's an important thing in the game, that if you don't want to do the card, pass the turn for the other players. This freedom is essential for the development for the competencies and skills.
Okay, so you also suggest that it is possible to leave some blank cards and let people write the instruction, write the task. Is it possible to have a not ready to use cards, but also the blank cards?
Yes, it's a possibility, it's an option. The more important strength for the methodology is his flexibility.
Okay. So once again, I will check what you're saying, and I will read out some cards from the professions section. So this one is, for example, write on paper the name of a person you admire professionally. The player on your left will have to guess it by reading your lips. So, okay. It's getting more and more interesting. Oh, this one is quite reflexive one. What is the main reason for you to continue developing in your profession? It can be a tricky question for some people. Okay, so I will stop presenting the cards, but they are really, really interesting. So I will do it after the seminar. Especially this. Some cards are about your assessing your stress level at work. The discussion can be really fierce when you are during the workshop. Let's talk about business. So, could you share with us some practical insights, and maybe you could tell us about some applications of Biopolis?
Yes, the most important applications, like in Hewlett Packard, we did a workshop called Challenge Yourself about challenge through the Biopolis methodology. And it was amazing to see that the team was more united, and the level of confidence grow more. And it's very impressive to listen their responses in the feedback, making a high level of awareness and in the professional skills and personal situations.
So we can talk about team development, team integration, we can talk about leadership, probably about creativity. Any other examples?
Yes, in Toyota, for example, with HR managers, it's a great, we created a great space for grow awareness in the leadership and the selection processes, and how impact these skills in the ROI of the company. It's another example for other industry company.
Okay. So that's me again with the real business situation and questions about real business situations. And here we have the information that this game can be played starting from half an hour, so 30 minutes is the I guess the minimum time of play. Could you tell us about how about the time that this game should be played to be effective? So, what about time duration of the play?
Yes, the flexibility is the main rule. 30 minutes for an icebreaker. I recommend 1 hour, 1.5 or 2 hours for a good session, and we can use it in a weekend training combined with other activities, outdoor, indoor, or other methodologies. The key is more time for Biopolis, more time for grow in all the aspects we can optimize.
Okay, perfect. The last question about some technicalities of this game is the number of people that can be involved. I have this small board, so it looks like this, and it says that the game is from 3 to 24 players. But I heard that you have some giant boards that are also available. So could you tell us more?
Yes, we can play with the small box. 8-10 people is recommended, and if we are more people, we can use the giant boards. We can walking over the board in the floor, and it's more visual impact for the players. We can play 100 people with 4 boards and 4 facilitators, making the feedback and the beginning of the session and the focus all together.
Are there any players wearing high heels? Because I can imagine that if you wear high heels, this board will be destroyed after one time playing. Or do you have experience with players wearing high heels?
Yes, it's important to consider it.
Okay, okay. Okay, and I can recommend also your book. Can you tell us about your book? This is available only in Spanish so far. This is about cómo ganar en el juego de la vida. So it's about how to play a game of your life. And here we have something with recreating creation of things, so co-creation. Could you tell us about this book?
Yes, the subtitle of the book, it's very interesting. It says the life is a game with a lot of faces. Learn to through the dices. It's the context, and recrear is a travel for our life in the 10 life areas, and we can recreate our lives personally, professionally, financially, etc. Gaming through the questions inside the book.
Okay. So thank you for this introduction and your story about Biopolis. Now I will share my stories because I started from presenting your book, but I would like to present some other books that also explain the popularity of the board games or hands-on, minds-on methods in Poland. So the first book to explain Biopolis in more scientific conditions is the book about systems view of life. So this is a story that explains organizational development, organizational design in categories of ecosystems. And bio stands for something that is life, that is linked to the biology, that is something linked to the nature, and also the systems view of life, and telling us about thinking in systems. The more organic, the more natural system, the better. So is it correct? Like, what is your interpretation of bio part of Biopolis? Biopolis?
Yes, the person is a life system with these 10 life categories, like me, or profession, or money, or relationships. And there is very present the systems theory and systems of systems of person system, community system, and earth system, Milky Way system, etc., etc.
Systems are everywhere, basically.
I agree.
Okay. The next books I would like to present, they are talking about communities. So there are some academic concepts that tell us that in organizations we create networks, we create systems or subsystems through conversations. So we need to build a community of practice, communities of interests, for example. And of course, this is the moment that group dynamics applies. And it's very visible, not only during workshops, but in the daily conversations between people. And police, so the city, the community, is also telling us something about knowledge as a collective experience. So we learn through being with others. Apart from the titles that are presented here, so this is communities of practice and living into community, the book that links the concept of communities and communication is this one. It is about communication as organizing. So this is about creating organizations through communication, through interactions. So people talk, they share the knowledge, they share their experience, and that is the way they learn. So if I get the profession card or relationships card or any other card like leisure card from Biopolis, it is just a reason to talk, a reason to share some experiences. So, am I correct that it's just a reason, just an excuse for conversation with people?
Yes, the aim of Biopolis is to reproduce the most powerful work of our brain from 0 to 12 years. Or the neuroscience, it's reinforcing the idea our brain learns through the game in community with our friends. It's a principal way to the brain development. And it's the most important reason we choose the board games for implementate the conversations and the learning according to the neuroscience and the optimal function of our brain.
Okay. Are we ready for some more books and some more theories? So this is your book. This is about co-creation. So the concept of co-designing or contributing to the design of your reality. So this is about being active, being proactive, and giving the voice, having this contribution to the business realities. The next book is about creative explorations. So we are talking about the concept of having the qualitative part of research, the qualitative conversation, I would say, and this is about exploring identities, exploring values, mission of the company through creative activities. And according to the author of this concept, David Gauntlet, we need to have this emotion. We need to have a kind of action for to let people play, to let people experiment with their ideas, with concepts, and. Here I have the example of the exploration book. I know some companies that use this book, this booklet, or I would say it's like a copybook to fill in with the experiences that are collected during the workshop. So I hope that we'll be exploring more in our business realities. Almost the last explanation, the theory behind Biopolis is linked to hands-on, minds-on experience. So we are thinking, we are talking about the situation that we touch something and we can touch cards. We have the board. So actually, it's something physical, tangible. Do you think that this part of Biopolis is also quite engaging, or maybe your opinion is different? Is hands-on, minds-on experience important in the Biopolis experience?
Yes, it's a very important thing, and the multiple intelligence in the Howard Gardner model to engage the people through action from theory. And it's very important to experience in Biopolis methodology.
Okay, perfect. What's next? So, as a summary, because I think that we are a bit exhausted with some theoretical background to Biopolis. So, the meta theory, I would say, to explain the engagement during Biopolis or board game playing would be the story of social constructivism, and this is the well-established concept that claims that knowledge is built, is constructed or co-constructed by humans when they are in a social situations, when they are playing, when they are talking, when they interact. So basically, we need to, as people who are responsible for organizational development, we need to create some spaces. We need to enable spaces for people to interact, because this is the way we learn. We learn through conversation. So the final statement for this part would be organic organizational growth through conversations, and this is the moment that we can tell you how to start this conversation about having Biopolis in your company and playing Biopolis with your people. So our certification training is the only training in this part of Europe. And it will take place in December. That's Saturday and Sunday. So we have 2 days full of interactions, full of experience. And our offer is dedicated to experienced facilitators. So we believe that Biopolis is just a tool to start conversations, and we would like to see the meaningful conversations. So we need people who understand the art of facilitation, and most of the benefits will be seen by people who are internal trainers, internal facilitators, who work in the HR departments, who are close to the people and the business problems. So we need this context, and so it's about empowering people through interactions. And we believe that after you have this knowledge about how to use Biopolis, you will add your experience and you will design the right workshop. And what's really interesting in Biopolis is that it's a quite context-dependent game, which means that you can play as many times you want, because each game will be different. It depends on people, on the climate and the situation, on the focus you want to give to this activity, or the time you want to invest in playing this game. So you can play it many times, and it works best when we have space for fun and joy. So we are ready for this joyful atmosphere. So the work is not about work only, but about talking, having the interactions, and talking about business problems in more playful atmosphere. And as we mentioned, the community of practices here is now mostly Finnish Spanish-speaking community, but hopefully from December we start speaking English or even Polish more often. And the final word will be about the certification training. So how can you access this community of practices and get certified? The training will be in Warsaw on 7th and 8th of December, probably in the city center. And this is designed for 10 participants. And we have a special prize for people who attended this webinar. So basically, if you want to reserve your place at training, you can click the link that is displayed in this webinar. And until the end of this week, you will have a very attractive bonus, a very attractive prize to attend this training. We want to experiment. We are sure that this game works in Latin America, that people are getting crazy about it in Barcelona, in Madrid, in Bilbao. Moses, can you confirm that it's also in France, in Germany, that there were some experiments outside Spanish-speaking countries?
Yeah. We currently are in 27 countries, and it's very, very amazing process of growth and expansion of the benefits for people and organizations through the methodology. I engaged you to confirm this certification, and I'm very excited to be for first time in Poland and with Monika.
Okay. So I'm also very excited. Hopefully we'll meet in December with the group of people who are skillful facilitators, and they want to experiment with co-creation of playful atmosphere at the workplace. Should we add
Yes, Monika, I would say something. It's the first step for the Polish people to make the follow path to co-create the Polish version of the methodology. It's very engagement path through this certification.
I'm waiting especially for creating the Polish version of this giant board. And of course, the last mention is about other countries than Poland. So the certification will be held in English, which means that you are very welcome if you want to join this certification, visit Warsaw, and then try something new and go back to Romania, Ukraine, Georgia, or Germany, or some other countries. So it's not only for Polish people. The official language is English, so we would have more fun in this multicultural environment. Okay. So Moises, once again, thank you for your attitude. Thank you for your presentations. Thank you for your thoughts. And hopefully we see each other in December for the certification training in Biopolis. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you, Monika, for the support and your contribution.